I don't know if I'd have any restrictions. I'd have to think about, but I hear what you're saying. I think and for me, they are very three distinct and very different parts of public media. So to go from a startup that was essentially inspired by Pacifica radio, not by television, and a whole notion of a different kind of public media, to go from that to a mega university that also had, a very ambitious land grant mission as its supposed soul, which I think it sold somewhere along the line for a good quarterback, and then to CPB, which, so they're very different. And yeah, they would be interesting, and I have thought about them. And, I've written a little bit on KBDI, but not a lot. But so yes, they are different, and they give me a certain perspective, good, bad, or ugly, about where things are and where they ought to go. But I don't know that you get into that so much as just the memories, right? It actually sounds fascinating. Do you do the interviews or?
No, David, doing an interview, no.
It'd be fun.
No, I was never very linear to start with.
I remember.
It's so, no. I actually tried to get producers to do it. I tried to get like a James Steinbach, and so I'm using Donald Toms in Maryland. Maryland, and
so that would, and then somebody, not you, would be presumably the interviewer, right?
yes.
So I would know that person in advance, and that interviewer is not, I would assume, would not be all that directive because they wouldn't particularly know any of the stuff I'm going to talk about, right?
Correct.
So, I don't know whether I'd want either a chauvinist or a feminist, but, just somebody would be setting up, and then I just talk, and you can do whatever the hell you want with it. And for the last 3 years, I come from a large family with 6 kids, and our parents died relatively young, and we've kind of gone on and done different things. But after I left CPB, we decided to do a family memoir project. So for every 6 weeks or so for the last 3 years, we've chosen topics. One of my brothers and I kind of narrow down the topics, and then we all write about that topic. So over a 3-year period of time, we've gone through like 25 plus topics. And what's fascinating about it is, at first you think, I don't remember this. But then when you start to kind of think about it, it's amazing things that kind of come back in your memory. And so it's just been a fascinating experience. And I don't know how that relates, but it's part of why I would be interested in something like this, because it's kind of a prompt to do a similar thing in my own head, not with a group, just going back and saying, okay, what are the things that I remember about my pretty long tenure at KBDI, actually, because I started as volunteer coordinator and worked up the program and program production and then general manager. But just what are those things? Like we were, just to kind of throw this out, not that it will go down in any annals, but we started the first home movies show ever before America's Favorite Home Videos that even came on the air. We started the first rock and roll video show before MTV had come on the air. And we made no money, we didn't do squat, but we're in an environment where that kind of stuff could happen and just sort of bubble up. So much more difficult when you're at an established station where you've got to do all these things and raise all this money to do things. So anyhow, just throwing that out, that there are interesting I would want to do some pre-thinking, so I've got a little bit in my head about where those points are that I thought resonate or make a difference, or at least made a difference for me in my thinking.